Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as we're inching closer and closer to that standard rotation, likely in March, and we are awaiting that mini set announcement that could come likely this week. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. I saw this Reddit article or thread by Huge Efficiency that I just found absolutely fascinating, where they took all of the top decks in like the last 30 days in standard and just showed like visually all the cards that are going to be leaving, all of the classes, all the key decks. And it is something I don't think I've ever seen in Hearthstone in terms of like a rotation. Not the visualization, it's really hard to grasp how crazy this rotation is going to be, and also how dead some classes appear to be in comparison to others, where they're literally losing like everything by the looks of it. So we're going to take a look through this thread, take a look at all these decks, and just give you an idea of what we're in for come March with rotation, unless like of course the mini set is like insane. It does crazy things of like, yeah, how many cards you might need to be crafting or opening, or the older or the cards from this year that you haven't been able to play yet, maybe they'll step in and take that spot, because we are in for the craziest rotation of all time, and it's not even close. So if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, want to keep up to date with not only the mini set news and the core set and all that stuff coming up with the rotation, please hit that sub button down below, give the video a like, as it helps the channel out a lot. And again, shout out to this Huge Efficiency user on the Hearthstone subreddit. I'll link this down below. They basically took the top 35 decks, it says here, using HS, Guru, Filters, Diamond through Legend, the last 30 days, over a 50% win rate with at least 5,000 games played. So pretty large data size. And we'll start off with Druid, where you can see Druid actually has a decent amount of stuff. All their top end is basically leaving, but a lot of the core stuff that they're gonna want to utilize, like wave shaping, Elise obviously is the big one. That card there, she's staying. I don't know if she'll stay this way until rotation, but she'll be there. But yeah, the Fabled card mix up 3 of the cards, and like a Mirdrassil, and this is just basically the location Druid. It's the main deck that's seeing play from Druid, but they're losing about half the cards, which honestly is on the more fortunate side compared to some of these other classes. Also showing off Alonius Druid. Well, Alonius Druid can't really exist without Alonius and the spell damage package. It is basically losing like everything except, you know, the same cards we just talked about. So Druid will look quite different. Again, it'll be a lot more of just, you know, what they'll have to fill in with the new expansion stuff, or maybe imbue, whatever. But yeah, Druid gonna look a lot different, and same with Hydration Druid. They lose all of that. So all the key archetypes are basically losing everything going on. DK, on the other hand, is one of the classes that looks a little bit stronger than a lot of the other ones, because again, you're going to see Elise in like pretty much every one of these decks for the most part, because it's just crazy. But they get to keep some good cards, in particular the leeches, right? Hideous Husk over here, really strong. We don't know about like Stitch Giant. We don't know what'll stay in the core set. That could possibly leave. I doubt like Falric would leave, because it just got added, I believe, this year. But you can see DK, as always, will probably be in a pretty good spot. Like DK outside of its launch has been like tier 2 or better for the most part. And as somebody who likes DK, I got to say I don't mind it too much, but the decks overall not losing like a ton. They're definitely losing stuff like everybody else, in particular the top end, but overall you can see they're keeping like over half of the playable cards, which is going to be a big deal when we start seeing some of these other classes. But yeah, again, you can see DK looking pretty darn good. Demon Hunter, they actually keep a decent amount of stuff in their Cliff Dive deck, but they lose Cliff Dive in the big stuff, right? So they're gonna have a good early game package with like the was it the Dread Seeds and Broxigar and things like that, but their win conditions are basically leaving. Look at aggro DH. It is getting completely wrecked. It loses almost everything here, and it might lose Kane even too, right? It could lose Mukla. We don't know, but yeah, aggro DH looks pretty rough. I feel like the no minion DH could be pretty darn solid afterwards, right? Because like the Death Rattle stuff is losing all of its top end, right? Peddler's leaving, that stuff's going on. So again, they can get new cards that can always come in, but it's going to be new stuff, right? You're not really going to be able to make a deck out of older stuff. And then you can see no minion DH basically loses almost nothing and is already a competitive deck. So no minion DH looks like something that could be really strong after rotation, even if it gets like almost no support, as it's a competitive deck in this current power level. That's saying quite a lot. So Demon Hunter, also a class as expected, will likely be doing pretty well considering the class has been, you know, super broken since day one, and for the most part is like tier 2, tier 1. Sometimes it's not amazing. It has fallen down to not being top tier at times, but historically in its what now 6-year run, it's been one of the best performing classes in that time, and I think that will stay true. Hunter, outside of like the Fabled card stuff here, and I guess the no-hand stuff, basically won't have a ton going on, right? Discover Hunter will not exist. This whole archetype, that's a lot of barren cards. It's basically the Fabled and Neri and nothing else. Like, that's not enough for a deck. Discover Hunter is literally gone with rotation. So that is a lot of cards Hunter will not be able to use. Quest Hunter loses nearly all of the cards it's using right now. It's an okay deck. It's semi-competitive, but like, again, look at Quest Hunter. It's gonna need a lot of like, you know, beasts to make up for it. They could definitely make up for that in the core set for sure. Add some beasts that are like odd cost to help out, or of course with the new expansion and all that. But my goodness, Quest Hunter, which is not exactly thriving, loses a ton. And then we move on to Mage. Mage gets deleted with rotation. Mage, their last 3 expansions have been nearly horrific. The only like redeeming part for the most part is the quest stuff, and the quest stuff really relies on the prior year. Protoss Mage, as you can see, it's gone. All the Protoss cards, all the miniaturized cards, everything that helps the deck be a thing will be completely removed from the game. Elemental Mage will have some pieces, but be missing quite a bit. In particular, like important cards like, you know, Solar Flare, kind of important, Blazing Accretion. Basically, Elemental Mage will cease to exist depending on what they get. And that's basically it. They don't even highlight here Quest Mage because it's not doing great. But if we talk about Quest Mage, the best versions play the no minion package. They run basically Puzzle Box or whatever it is the big thing that can help out. That whole stuff is gone. Mage has nothing. Mage has literally nothing to work with other than Arcane Mage, but without like buy one, get one freeze. How is that even going to work? So Mage needs so much help with either the mini set or the updated core set or the next expansion, or that class is pretty screwed. And as somebody who has more wins with Mage than any other class, I'm hoping Jaina gets some help, to say the least. Paladin, their early game stuff looks like it's going to take a bit of a hit, like the aggro Paladin, which we highlighted or put in our best decks video, does pretty well. It loses a good chunk of cards. Aura Paladin will be pretty good, I think. Like Aura Paladin, obviously they keep Gelbin, which just came out, which is an incredible card. They keep the majority of their deck, and you know, they'll get new tools, and everybody else is losing a ton. Looks pretty good for Paladin, particular Aura Paladin, which is not that far off. You could see Diamond through Ledge in the deck is doing pretty darn well already. So for people that are sick of Paladin, you're probably going to be facing more Paladin after rotation. And then yes, Priest. Priest is in the Mage position. Look at this image. This is Protoss Priest, obviously pretty skewed because you want to play all the Protoss cards, but my God, it's gone. It's completely gone, and almost every card that went into this deck is gone as well. Zarimi Priest loses a ton of support too. Well, I mean, they lose Zarimi, right? So they lose their 2 best decks. Everything's gone in them, right? There's nothing left over, and there really isn't any other competitive Priest decks, right? That's it. That's all they really have, and they're completely gone, and everything that's left behind is just so far behind, right? The health buffing stuff and Imbue Priest isn't great. Control Priest is horrendous because they have no good AoEs, or they can get outvalued. You don't have great healing or health generation. Like, you can't gain health or armor like these other classes. Priest and Mage look terrifying with how they're going to have nothing. They're literally going to have nothing left unless this stuff can somehow take its place that's there, or they get a really good, incredible mini set, core set, or next expansion. Rogue, well, Rogue will be fine. Why? Because they got prep, they got step, but they also have a good package right now with like Nightmare Fuel, Deja Vu, the Fabled card, Elise. They're just gonna have to put in some other win con that they don't have right now, but Shaman, I believe, will be around too, right? So yeah, obviously Protoss Rogue disappears, but Elise Rogue, a lot of it will stay. It's already arguably the best deck in Standard. It's really not losing a lot, so unless they actually lose step or prep, Rogue will be, you know, dominant at higher ranks as it always is. It just negative mana on both spells and minions. No other class is at advantage, plus the strength of the class is card draw. They are losing Dubious Purchase, which will hurt a lot, but they can just put in fast forward. It's not as impactful, but it's still better than most classes. So Rogue looking like one of the better classes as well, despite, you know, Cycle Rogue will basically lose its win con, but it keeps the Cycle package. It keeps Webweaver, Phoenix, and Crystal Tusk, and Cultist Map, and Platosaur. There's a lot going on for Rogue. You can never go wrong being a Rogue main if you want to be competitive, because my God, it's just always looking good for Rogue. Even Garona Rogue out there losing some stuff, but Shaman, obviously Hagatha Shaman loses Hagatha, the whole entire package. That deck's been doing really well. It will cease to exist, and look at the amount of cards that will be gone. That is crazy image to see, and that's like the only Shaman right now, but I do think like Nature Shaman could possibly like take that spot, like the Stormrook and the Masochist Shaman, as some people have called it. That could definitely step up. It's just not as good as this, so I'm not too concerned about Shaman, because that stuff isn't that bad. It's just not at the level, obviously, of the absolutely insane Hagatha Shaman. Shred Warlock will remain for you know, Warlock, but they really don't have much going on right now. And you know, you have Egglock, which will actually keep a lot of stuff, so you can look out for Egglock. It depends on their core set. A lot of these are core set cards, but that could be a deck that could absolutely still be a major thing after rotation. It's not really right now. It was at Worlds, but imagine with all these other things leaving, something like Egg Warlock could be pretty good. Wallow Warlock, I've talked a lot about on my stream about, like, this deck's not that far off, and it doesn't lose a heck of a lot. It does lose some things, obviously, but the core of the deck will be there, and it has a straight up win con. It's got value. It's got good minions. Wallow Warlock might really shine with early rotation unless that next set is really crazy, so look out for that. Warlock, although not doing amazing right now, might be a bit of a sleeper hit when we get to that rotation. And Warrior, they've had a good year. The dragons and the control package, the quest, like Dragon Warrior, a lot of it stays. I think it'll definitely be playable, and you could possibly just put in the Fabled card in there, depending. We've seen builds with that over the last like couple of months. And Quest Warrior does lose a lot, but there's a lot of good tools here too. The armor gain, the card draw, it just, yeah, the board clears are going to be lacking, and you know, win conditions, although the quest itself is a win con. So Warrior, another class that's looking pretty good, and I think that's about it. So it's pretty crazy to take a look at it in this way, visualizing with all the cards missing, and seeing in particular Priest and Mage look just horrifying. Just seeing all the dark spaces, and when I went through the best cards of the year video and trying to find one really strong Mage card, I couldn't do it. Like, there just isn't one. It's pretty nuts. At least Priest had one, but it got nerfed in Resuscitate. We'll see what happens, but yeah, this rotation is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before, and I just thought we would go over it at least one final time until we get, you know, way closer to rotation. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.